Anyway, guys, we got to jump back to Hot Toys. Got to ask you guys the question: would you be open to time pre-orders for Hot Toys? And we have seen some of these. You guys, I don't know, PJ, if you've noticed this as much, but like for some of these figures, like Miles Morales, for example, the Miles Morales from Spider-Verse 2, they put like a week PO window on that for the special edition. With the special edition, you do get that head sculpt with the sort of half-mast head sculpt. And, they are starting to kind of experiment with these things with, the exclusive Peter Parker and Miles Morales that are coming out from the new Spider-Man game, or, Darth Vader being the DX version, the special edition, where it's, it's timed for a week, or Peter Parker from, No Way Home, stuff like that. So do you guys want to see more timed pre-order windows from Hot Toys? Because I don't know if I think it might be healthy for the market just because of the amount of oversaturation we've experienced in recent years, the amount of people maybe even leaving the hobby and buying less. Optical, would you want to see some more like special editions like this with timed pre-order windows? Like maybe they do that for the figure as a whole. They say 60 days, right? We'll make as many as 60-day pre-order. I don't know if that would be a financially viable move, but would you want to see more of that as a collector?
I do.
Yeah.
Like I think it brings more value back to the Hot Toys, at least to the first adopters, because you gotta reward them. You don't have to reward guys like me who waits for a sale. That is fun, because I already got my sale. That's my reward.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're going back. Honestly, I don't think we're going back to the days where Hot Toys is going to sell out. It will eventually, but I think we're always going to be in that realm where it's going to take years before things sell out. So this incentivizes people who are early adopters, who are those still hardcore collectors who was like, oh, I got this, and maybe they need to sell. Maybe their car broke down, and now they're getting incentivized by, maybe some people are going to value this exclusive mask, right? Like, so at the end of the day, these are still collectibles. And in any collectible realm, there's some sort of value attached to it, whether you want to say, oh, I do this for the love of the character. No, that's just the game. You get you collect cards, you collect antiques. There are pieces who are more valuable than others. That's just how collecting works. And I think this would at least elevate Hot Toys again to a certain degree to what it was to some people, because you're going to be like, hey, this mask is exclusive edition, even though I don't really view it that way. To some, they do. And I love the fact that not this one, the Wonder Woman, where it's a mashup, right? Like the Wonder Woman, that's a mashup of everything. I like the fact that that's exclusive, because I don't need that. I like the fact that there's a Wonder Woman for me who wants to penny pinch and save money. And then there's a Wonder Woman for people who like, all right, this is kind of like in-art version. It's rooted here, the head of, you can't be mad at them, be like, well, why didn't you release that to the general public? Well, no, if you really want this, then pay to play. If you don't, guess what? There's other Wonder Woman for you. So I like the idea of there's still kind of, to some degree, not everything. This is not 2015. You have some valuable pieces still, but not, how do I phrase it? Valuable pieces, but not required. You're not required to buy this. There's a lot of Wonder Woman. You can't be like, hey, I missed out on Wonder Woman. No, they're not preventing you from buying a character. They're preventing you from buying a certain model of a character. Kind of like that Spider-Man and Miles Morales. You can't be like, man, they only made 300 pieces. Well, there's a lot of Spider-Mans out there for you. You can choose one. Just not this. As a matter of fact, there's just one like this 4 years ago. If you didn't buy it, I'm sorry.
Right. Well, Optical, I love that, bro, because I'm 100% with you, man. So this is something I think people too, that I think people need to maybe understand too. Like, I totally get the idea of, I collect for the joy of it. Like, I don't think about value, this and that. But like, if the hobby isn't healthy financially, then no one wins, really. The only way you win is you get figures super, super cheap, I guess. But the longevity of these companies and longevity of the IPs and whatever, like you want everything to be healthy, and you want people to actually, I think a lot of people, I would be willing to speculate, have probably left collecting because the value is so in the tank for these things. Like, you don't want these to become Funko Pops. I don't think you want that. I don't think you want to oversaturate the brand of Hot Toys and other type of collectibles that extensively that they just hold no value whatsoever. And the second you buy them, it's like a car, but you can drive a car. Like, I'll lose value because I can drive it. Hot Toys, I display it. And the second I buy it, I lose 20, 30% of its value. Like, that's, unless I hold it for 5 years, and then maybe I might retain some of that value. Like, that's, I think that's, I think that's why this is perfect what they're doing. Give you both. Give you a wide release and then give you an exclusive edition for the people who do want something a little more valuable or something that they still want, but something
Mhm.
that would retain its value. Like Wenwu and Suit, for example. I have that one and I have for other people, there's the regular Wenwu and I have both of them, right?
Yeah.
But the Wenwu and Suit one, if you really want that exclusive one, then you can get that. So,
Right.
and I think it also gives you something to chase. That's kind of a part of what's exciting about it. Like I
Yeah.
had to go find that Last of Us Ellie print optical that I got. Super hard to find, super rare. I had to pay for it, right? But it was kind of fun to go chasing and hunting and searching and whatever and trying to find it. Like that, that's something I sometimes miss with Hot Toys. But PJ, what do you think, man? Would you be open to more pre-order windows like this?
Yeah, well, here's the thing too. Is it really like, I mean, has a figure been released that was from a pre-order window? Because sometimes
Mm,
I don't trust that whole pre-order window, because then they'll
right.
do that and then you could get it from Hong Kong. That's
You
like,
can do that. Yeah. They'll be like, you
you
can get it from
know,
Tim Sen or something. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just like, if you're gonna do something like that, make it only exclusive for Sideshow. No one else can buy it, including Tim Sen or some of the other like third party resellers and stuff like that. Like, and that's my thing. It's like, okay, it's only exclusive for Sideshow, but then Tim Sen has like 1,000 copies.
I don't think they never ever said that. I think they said exclusive to 1,500, for example, and that's worldwide. Like Sideshow
Right.
gets 300 out of that 1,500.
For the
Yeah.
Miles and Peter.
For
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
or
I mean,
yeah,
But
for
some of these other
the
ones, like Obi-Wan, for example, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Obi-Wan. Okay. Like, so you're saying like I know like the Wonder Woman and stuff, like the Captain America Winter Soldier suit, like those are just super exclusive, right?
right, right.
Like, and
And
Wenwu and Suit never actually came to Sideshow. They
Right.
only,
mhm,
he was only 300 made. So yeah, he was very
yeah,
limited.
yeah. Like I said, like as long as they're doing it where to the point where like some of this pre-order windows you could only get it from Sideshow and nowhere else, then I am all for it. Um, th- the problem is that when you go outside of Sideshow and you could get it easily, then
Right.
that what's the point? So I think they should do more of these, right? Because obviously the market's oversaturated with a lot of collectibles now. I feel like every show has like at least 2 or 3 figures. I'm seriously scared for Spider-Man 2. I don't know why that's giving me heart palpitations, because you got Venom, you got what's the guy's name? Craven.
Craven. Yeah.
Yeah, you got all these characters that's probably going to be made by Hot Toys, because Hot Toys loves Spider-Man. Honestly, just kind of do a pre-order window for all these figures, right? Hey, listen, you want this? You got to pre-order it now and honor it. So collectors are really forced to buy it right away or pre-order it right away so they don't miss out. The fear of missing out. If I was a company, I'll play on those emotions, right? Honor that system where, oh, you guys missed out on that pre-order window. Guess what? Sorry. You missed
Right.
out. You missed out. Then now you build that hype of, oh my gosh, this Obi-Wan, I gotta get it because no one else, like, I'm not missing out on it again. That's what I did with the Rancor from Sideshow. I knew that, from the Dewback, I missed out on that Dewback 6 scale statue. I wasn't gonna miss out on the Rancor, and I jumped on it right away, and it sold out. And now that Rancor is, worth the prepay. And I'm not going for like, the value of it. I'm still gonna keep my Rancor, but honestly, if you just kind of like want to battle like the oversaturation of figures and not turn it into a Funko Pop, really stick to your guns. I think they're doing it with figures like this, like the Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
That's a great example, and even the other Batman stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That blue Batman they made, that was, yeah, but
yeah.
it's cool though that it's an exclusive sort of and one
Mhm.
off type of thing. And this Wonder Woman, same deal. But I'm interested to see what they do because that Miles and that Peter from the new Spider-Man game, those are the main characters in that game, and they decided to
Mhm.
make them exclusive. And those are Spider-Man figures. So I wonder if that's going to be more of a thing we're going to see moving forward.
Yeah.
I love it, Will, because those
Me too.
two were readily available for years, right?
Yep.
Like Miles, I think you can still go to some sites and you can get the Miles Morales from the first game.
Yep.
The
Mhm.
difference is not that big, right? Like he got a red here instead of just red coming
Right.
down here. So I like the idea that these are not characters that, let's say, they decide to do Yondu just exclusive, right? Like, it was like, dude, I don't want to fight for Yondu. I need Yondu. So, kind of not a character, but this is more of like a skin, so to speak. You
Yeah.
want this kind of skin? Go ahead. This is not the first Miles. Like, if this is the only Miles, I would be like, dude, that's wrong. That's, you can't do that. Like, if they made this Spider-Man, which is Tobey Maguire, exclusive, they'll be like, dude, are you guys nuts? It was like, I want one. I don't want to fight somebody with like refreshing my browser, but it's not. So it's optional. Like, you don't need to go for that Miles. Like, there's another Miles out there now for that Advanced Suit Spider-Man 2.0. I know the old one has been released a long time ago, but I feel like that's the name of the game. You pay to play. You don't need to have the Spider-Man. You want it? Pay 400 on eBay. I think that's how it is. You want Hella? Pay 500 on eBay. If you don't want to pay 500, guess what? Hot Toys just released 40 figures this year. Pick one of those. They're cheap.
Right.
I feel like that's just how it is.
I feel like some of that needs to come back to the hobby, unfortunately. I think because I think we got too comfortable with things getting way oversaturated, and a lot of us doing this too, saying don't pre-order things because we're just telling you what's in the best interest of your wallet. And we were analyzing what the market was looking like and saying you legitimately have no incentive to pre-order.
Yeah.
You're actually de-incentivized to pre-order because if you do, you're going to pay more than you would pay later by far. So that's what happened. And then eventually now the market, I think those retailers like Sideshow and manufacturers like Hot Toys, they're shifting back because they're just adapting to what we've done. Like not YouTubers, but just any collector, right? They're just looking at what the market has done and they're being reactive to it. And this is what you get. And I think this is what's going to help everything be a little bit healthier. I think we need some of that. Not where people get really frustrated and you're crashing websites and can't buy anything, but you need some of that exclusivity back injected into the hobby to give it a little more like, okay, like I actually have to pay attention and, I want to get other things. And like, again, I just don't think you want these to become Funko Pops. I don't think.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I'm sorry. Optical.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say is that like remember I'd said it in optical stream quite a few times is the ecosystem is just basically have a nice ecosystem of collecting, right? Okay, you're gonna have scalpers, you're gonna have people that are like are flippers, right? Whatever. That's just part of the game. Like that helps that ecosystem, right? If you don't have that, then you have a really like an ecosystem that's out of control, which is which it is right now. You got oversaturation of figures, pre-orders, no one's pre-ordering, and you know what? You need those pre-orders as like like more like an analytics. Like, okay, well, there's only like 5,000 that pre-ordered this figure. Let's make 7,000,
Right.
But you don't have that because no one's pre-ordering now. So you're like, what? No one's pre-ordering. Only got like 20, or let's just say, only got like 300 pre-orders. How much should we make? Should we really make 500? That seems like unreasonable. So that's why you need to reset the ecosystem. You need to interject it with some exclusivity, things like this, so that we could just jumpstart the hobby again, and get it to where it needs to be.
And I look, I totally understand people who say, and I think that's an ideal way to look at it. I collect it because I love these figures and I love these characters. That's great. But you also want the industry to be healthy because if it's not, you don't get these figures at all.
Right.
So, and that's part of the thing I think people do need to understand. Like I don't know, I don't claim to know Hot Toys financial numbers or Sideshows, but Sideshow cannot be doing well if they're discounting all their shit by 40% all the time. Like they're sitting on so much dead stock. It's very clear they're running sales all the time. They can't be doing well. They clearly don't like that. So, this type of stuff, I'm sure Sideshow has probably talked to Hot Toys and like, we need to like make it stuff more exclusive or whatever. Because again, like PJ and Op both said, no one's pre-ordering. And now with this exclusive stuff, they like that blue Batman, that guy, how many people bought that who really didn't want it because it was exclusive, right? Like that gets people to FOMO.
And we need that. We honestly need that in the market. And I like the fact that we got blue Batman. They're not nerfing us, right? Like this is healthy for both parties. Like people who wants exclusive things. And for us, it's not like they released Namor and he's limited to 300. Now you're going to have some people with pitchforks out. You don't need the Spider-Man. If you want it, be on the lookout, right? Like good for you. If you want this, be on the lookout, hit that refresh button and good luck. But that's a part of the game. That's the part of the fun, the hunt. And then this is how grails are created.
Yep.
If they are scarce, not everything could be Lando. If everything's Lando, then there is no grail. Like because they're readily available. You walk into Walgreens and pick them off the shelf. Then there is no grail. You'll be like, oh,
Right.
the grail is it's what's in, yeah, I get that, but it's like goat, like the goat in basketball. They can only be a certain criterias. But I love what Hot Toys is doing with this. I hope they continue because they're not hurting the collectors.
Nope.
Because again, you don't.
Mhm.
Let's say you play the game and you love Spider-Man. Don't tell me the moment you get a skin, you're gonna change your skin anyway. You're not gonna be this guy. You start off with this guy and then you change your skin, right? So
Right.
I love it. Me personally.
Yeah, I'm all for it too. Just because then, when you pick up some of these collectibles and unexpectedly it becomes valuable, you are like, oh, cool, awesome, right?
Right.
Just like with me and Optical Mark 46, when we picked it
Yep.
up, man, oh man, was that an amazing figure? But if someone pays me $800,
Right. Exactly.
Now it's 15% off.
Yeah, I know, right?
exactly.
You can get
Oh
that
my
thing
God.
for probably even more than that. Yeah, no doubt.
See,
Yeah.
look at that. The character didn't change. The figure almost maybe changed for the better because the base is better.
Yeah.
You lost the Tony Stark head sculpt. Big deal. Buy another Hot Toys. You'll get a better Tony Stark head sculpt. See, that's how grails are made. That used
Yeah.
to be a grail. Not anymore. So nothing
Yeah.
changed. I bet you if you release Yondu right now, he's not going to be a grail anymore. Is that?
Well,
Because
see,
he's
and
a
that's what I
villain.
love about these exclusive
Yeah.
ones because they're not, maybe the figures don't have a number, but they're limited in terms of how many they're making. And they've said we're making 500. Like, they
Yeah.
could remake another Wonder Woman in the future, but as far as this iteration, like it's an exclusive thing. Like I just think I do think unfortunately for some who aren't going to like that, we need that. The market.
Yeah, we
needs it.
need. Well, you
Yeah.
can't please everyone. I just what I notice about like
Right.
in collecting, right? You can't please everyone, right? There's always going to be someone that's not happy. But in the majority, though, we need this. Imagine if War Machine, the 2.0 reissue or whatever that the first War Machine that was made. Imagine that was released the same way as this Wonder Woman. That will fly off the shelves, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. So we need it. But now you could readily get the War Machine, right? Can you get it now still? I haven't
Yeah,
checked.
you
Yeah.
probably could. Yeah.
Easy. It's on
Easy.
sale all the time. And it
Yeah.
gives us the best of both worlds. We get to keep the non-pre-order. If you're not into this, right? You get to keep that. You still get to buy cheap figures because the way you
it's
get
still,
cheap
yeah.
figures is because they overmake them. And I think they will continue to overmake them. These guys are spare parts. Let's be honest. This is the spare parts of all the Wonder Woman combined. That
Yeah, it
Batman
is.
the Batman is a repainted Batman. Those two Spider-Mans are probably just different paint of suit. We're not, as a collector, you have the choice now to opt for them. Like if you want to, you still can get your cheap figures. They're going to continue to be cheap, but at the same time, you have the option of having a grail, maybe or not down the line. So
Right.
Yeah.
everyone wins.
Yeah, and wide releases, they'll still do those. And I think that's great. They should give us both. And I think that, everyone's going to be happy because you're going to please the crowd that wants a little more exclusivity. And you're also going to please the crowd who just want the figure. So, and that's why I think these time POs could be good because for one, it gets people to, but you got to give us something good. You can't be a hologram. It's got to be another Darth Vader head sculpt, a second or a third one or something.
I agree.
Or something
I
like
agree.
that. Or maybe a different base. Like the base is like light up and it's different and you do it in the first week. It's got to be something substantial and valuable.
Yeah.
Like
and stick to your guns. Stick to your guns. Don't give it to some of the resellers to have them buy it and resell it. So
yeah. Well, guys, thanks for your thoughts on that one. Guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We got time for one more topic, and I think this is going to be another fun one. But yeah, I mean, I think the pre-order windows, I think it could be a good idea. So I would love to see more of it. But got to ask you guys the question.